Hello.
Hey, Bernadette. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Yes, you can hear me?
Yes.
Because I can't hear you.
Must be muted.
Oh, boy. This should be interesting.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna mute
See what I
myself
can
and
do. I don't know. This might ruin my whole training.
What's the matter?
Let's see. I can talk, but I can't hear you. So hold on a second. Maybe. Let me try something stealth here. Hold on one second. You guys can hear me? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can listen in on my phone. I'm going to try it right now. Oh. What do you know? I can't do that either. Maybe. Let's see. Let me see.
If it falls in your lap, pick it up, please.
All right.
Smile so hard.
Oh my God. It's going to be too much. All right.
Are the Decepticons getting you?
Yes.
Do you guys hear an echo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No. You're destroying our brain cells with your echo.
Oh my God.
I feel like a light sound.
Wah, wah.
Let me send Graham and Optimus over to help.
Okay. So I don't know what I'm going to do because I can't hear you.
Try the chat feature.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to proceed and I'm going to talk. And if you all have a question, you use the little chat button. Y'all see the little chat button there? Or ask Sarah and she can actually type it to me maybe. Because I'm just going to roll with it because that's what we do. I'm going to pretend I'm accepting an award and we'll just roll with it. So, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I can't hear your voices. So, I'm just going to go with what we have. We're going to talk about business plans and we're going to talk about profitability. We're going to talk a little bit about money management. Everybody's excited, I'm sure. Sarah, I don't see. Oh, yeah, I do. All right. I don't know what I'm doing, to be honest with you, with the share screen mode, dear. But can you see it? Can y'all see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sarah, can you see the screen? All right. So we're going to start. 4 minutes late because it took me that long to get up and running. So for those of you that are just joining, I can't hear you. My speakers don't work apparently. So just use the chat button if you have any questions or have Sarah type to me. So first we're going to go over creating a business plan. Does anybody that is on the call right now have a business plan? Raise your hand, because I can't hear you. So if I'm clicking through, I saw maybe one or two. Did I see more than two hands? Two or three? Katie? Okay. Awesome. Awesome for y'all that have a business plan. If you are on the call and do not have a business plan, we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how to get started on creating a business plan, what are the components that should go into a business plan, and then we're going to go through some planning as far as calculating income growth, profitability. We're going to go through some of those numbers as well. So starting with creating a business plan, basic, really basic components. These components and build on them. You'll have a pretty solid business plan as far as what you want to do with your business and where you want to start. So creating a business plan, what's your mission statement or vision statement? So you can understand what you're trying to create with your business. So we are all LuLaRoe fashion retailers. So we all, in a sense, have the same business, but we all have different visions as to what we want to create with our business. So your vision statement, your mission statement should align with what you're trying to create for your business. Who are you trying to reach? What do you stand for? What do you love about LuLaRoe? What kind of culture are you trying to create? Description of your company, product, or service. This is just a generic component to a business plan. So it's very simple. What do we sell? And that just is going to go under your business, under your mission statement. And then your description of how do you propose you're going to differentiate yourself. The differentiators are going to be, what are you setting yourself apart with? What's going to bring customers to your business that sets you apart from other LuLaRoe fashion retailers? So the next point is very important in determining your differentiators is a market analysis. Discuss your market. And all of our markets are a little bit different. Some of us live in the same general local vicinity. Others don't. Others live in different states, different towns. So when you complete your market analysis, you're going to try to look at competitors. Where do you fit? What type of market share you think you can secure? Different platforms that you intend to utilize as far as building your business. So basically you want to look at what other LuLaRoe consultants are in your local area. Where do you fit in is basically analyzing what part of the market share makes you different as far as, okay, do you have really established consultants in your market area? Do you have no consultants in your market area? Do you have consultants that pretty much take over one arena when it comes to LuLaRoe? So I'm sorry. So basically doing your market analysis is going to show you where you stand amongst everybody else in your market. So Bernadette has a question. No. Okay. I see a hand raised. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure this out, y'all. I have a new computer today, and it didn't work out quite the way I thought it was going to work out, but it's all good. So If you are not on mute, please mute yourself unless you want to speak to Sarah or somebody else that can hear you. Describe your resources. Basically, your resources are who is on your team. Include the experience of key team members and previous successes. So if you are new to your business, lean on those that have experience. Lean on those that have previous successes. Look to those that have a track record. Look to those people that have the business that you want to model. So if you don't know who those people are, you can always go to your first upline leader or to Sarah and myself, and we can put you in touch with somebody that has the same business goals as you do. The best way to basically create your business plan is to look to somebody that already is running a business like the one that you want to run. So describing your resources, basically, how do we make each other successful? How can we help each other be successful? The answer to that question is leaning on each other's experiences, successes, failures, what did we do wrong, what did we do right, and sharing that with everybody. How do you plan to market your LuLaRoe business? So create a mini marketing plan. What are you doing for marketing? Are you going to solely market on certain platforms? Are you going to do flyers? Are you going to do card decals? Are you going to promote fundraising efforts to branch out into your local market with schools, teachers, fundraising, whatever it is, put that into your little mini marketing plan as far as how do you plan to market your business. The next one is really hard because it requires that you take a look in the mirror. You analyze your personal strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So this is going to put some realistic dimension to your business plan. So what are your strengths? This is individual strengths. Once you get all of these into a business plan, you'll notice that everything ties up together to create a business plan. So analyzing your personal strengths, your personal weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Strengths. I know y'all can find strengths. Where do your strengths lie? Certainly, you're going to rely on your strengths more often in your business than anything else that you rely on. Weaknesses. It's very important that we know what our weaknesses are because we don't want to spend too much time there. I'll raise my hand today and say my weakness is putting slides together and changing computers at the last minute. Yes, guilty. It's not happening again. So take hold. This will be the last time it ever happens. You don't want to spend too much time in your weaknesses, but you do want to recognize that they're there because it's something that you have to analyze for your business. Where you're weak, you find somebody else that's strong, and then it helps you balance the pool. So you find a partner, you find another team member, you find somebody in your circle of influence that can help you in those areas that you're weak. Opportunities. Basically, I mean, I'm not going to talk about it, but this is where like 72-hour game plan comes up. Making lists. Who have we talked to? Who haven't we talked to? Did you talk to the post, the lady that delivers your mail? Did you talk to the people at the post office? Did you talk to your accountant since you got your taxes done? Did you talk to the people at the dance studio, your teachers, your nonprofit partners in your circle of influence? So opportunities is just identifying anywhere in your circle of influence where you may have an opportunity to share your business. And then threats would be, who's your threat? Do you have one of those LuLaRoe ballers in your market area? So that would be considered a threat. If you have a consultant that is one of the LuLaRoe, first ones ever born, that would be considered a threat. do you have a very, very saturated market, which I don't really believe in saturated markets because we have a really concentrated group of LuLaRoe consultants in Macomb, Shelby Township, Michigan. So, but identifying them is important to your business plan. Once you have all of these things, once you've identified all of these things, it will show you that you're realistic and you've considered everything in the circle. You've taken into consideration your opportunities and your challenges. Develop a cash flow statement so you understand what your needs are now and what they will be in the future. A cash flow statement can also help you consider how cash flow could impact growth, revenue, expenses, credit, and debt. We're going to go through what a cash flow scenario might look like if y'all are sitting there saying, I don't know what a cash flow statement is. I think that cash flow when it comes to business is probably the hardest thing to talk about because everybody goes into business with different goals and aspirations as far as what they want from their business. So Sarah and I have put together a few different case scenarios, and we've been super conservative, but we will show you some examples as to what a cash flow statement looks like. And basically, it's just analyzing what do you want your revenue to be. The good part about when we talk about cash flow and we talk about profitability in a business, you're the ultimate controller. You can choose what these numbers are based on how much you're willing to work, basically. So revenue would be, what is your sales goal? So we like to look at cash flow on a monthly basis. Everybody should be doing monthly goals. So revenue would just be sales goals for a month. So per month, what do you want your revenue goals to be? And then you calculate or you project expenses, credit, and debt. And then you come up with a revenue projection. Where do you want to be 1 month from today? Where do you want to be 3 months from today? Where do you want to be 6 months from today? And where do you want to be a year from today? Businesses really should have a longer business plan than just the next 12 months. But we're going to start small. And then anytime somebody has a 12-month business plan and wants to talk about a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plan, we'll be ready to discuss it. But we want to just get past the first 12 months today. Summary and conclusion that wraps everything together. So once you're finished with all of those top things, then you just come together and wrap it all together. So start from the beginning and go through everything. It's just like like an essay in school. All you have to do is wrap everything together. That's the end of your business plan. It's a very short, condensed version of what can be in a business plan. We are all our own investors. We generally own our businesses either by ourselves or with a partner. We don't have investors, so to speak. So our businesses are quite simple as far as when it comes to creating a business plan. We don't have to write a 40-page, a 40-page explanation of what our plans are in order to get somebody to invest with us. So, any questions on that slide? No. All right. So, moving on. Calculating income and growth. So we have a couple different case scenarios here. We have put together 4 different case scenarios based on what your business goals are. Using average numbers, it's really important to understand that using average numbers, when you do something that speaks to the masses, nothing is ever calculated dollar for dollar because we'd be sitting here doing math all day, and Sarah would love to do that. Jeannie would not. So all of these are on average numbers. Calculated profit is based on a $15 per piece of LuLaRoe sold. So this is the number that we use to calculate the averages. We use a $15 per piece profit, which is very conservative, but there's other things to keep into consideration when calculating profit. Certainly there's many, many items that we make more than $15 per piece, but we calculated expenses, hostess rewards, giveaways kind of into that number, so it's a more realistic number. When we talk about initial order, so basically we started these scenarios based on the initial order, which initial order comes with approximately 285 pieces, totaling $12,150 in retail. We added on 30 pieces or 60 pieces, 30 of each size leggings, cost of $630 for a total investment of $5,556. So for the sake of ease, we did 4 case scenarios. If you want to do it quick and pay off your debt, is the first scenario here. Gross sales minus debt. 50% of your profit goes back into building your inventory. 50% of your profit goes into paying your debt. We also did a scenario where you put gross sales, assuming you want to build your inventory and you're going to purchase lower cost inventory. What is lower price? What's lower cost inventory? Skirts and shirts cost us about $15 to $16 wholesale. This is not assuming inventory of adding on Amelia's, Sarah's, higher price items. So gross sales assuming lower cost inventory. 75% goes back into building inventory, 25% goes back into debt. Gross sales assuming higher price inventory. So if we want to look at some of those higher price items, still 75-25, meaning 25% in these next 2 case scenarios go towards your debt, 75% goes towards your inventory. And then we have a case scenario where you assume gross sales, paying yourself, and paying your debt. So in that scenario, we assume 60% goes back into inventory and expenses, 20% goes to paying yourself, and 20% goes to paying your debt. So I'm going to show you what each one of those situations look like. Any questions on this slide? No. Okay. First case scenario, skinny on the numbers. Paying off your LuLaRoe investment quick payback. Quick payback is based on 50% of your gross sales go to inventory and 50% goes to loan payoff. When you are in this mode, if you want to do 50% and 50%, you're not paying yourself and you're not building your inventory. So if you look at the grid here, if you did this for 4 months and you kept your inventory status quo, and month 1 you have 320 pieces of inventory, we did a very conservative estimated sales capacity based on a formula, based on the formula that your sales capacity will equal the number of pieces in your inventory. So you'd have 320 pieces of total inventory, estimated sales capacity, $3,200 for the month, 50 to inventory, 50 to loan payoff. Your debt remaining on your investment in month 1 would be $3,900. And so on. Month 2, you would have 320 pieces of inventory, $3,200 in sales capacity, $1,600, $2,300 left on your debt. So is this pretty self-explanatory in this capacity? 50% of your sales goes to restocking your inventory that you've sold, and 50% goes to loan payoff. Everybody get it? Awesome. So if you want to build your inventory, building your inventory is possible. We have 2 case scenarios here. Buying less expensive styles. So not getting super excited every time somebody says, oh, I want you to add this style, or not doing something that doesn't make sense for your business. Sarah and I have always said we do not want consultants on our team buying inventory that they cannot afford. So knowing what makes sense for your business and having a solid game plan as to how you want to grow your business makes sense all the way around. So paying off your initial LuLaRoe investment, building with less expensive styles. So in this scenario, in month 1, you have 320 pieces of inventory, and we're still in this, we're in this payoff of 75 goes into inventory, and now 25 goes to debt. So you have $3,200 in sales capacity. You have 25% going into loan payoff, and you have debt remaining $4,700. If you look through the numbers here, if you could look through the months, month 2, you would have grown your inventory to $373. If you are in month 3, you would have grown to $435. And 4, you would have grown to $507. 5, you would have grown to $592. Sorry. And 6, you would have grown to $690. So in this scenario, y'all see that you more than double your inventory by buying less expensive styles by month 6, and you have your investment paid off in 5 months. Does everybody see how that works? Can everybody still hear me?
Mhm.
Awesome. And Sarah, I'm sorry, Sarah said you can make your inventory larger, faster, and more appealing by adding shirts, skirts like Cassie and Azure. Think of it like an inventory Jedi mind trick, like for sure. Sarah, I think you can talk. I can't hear you if you talk, but everybody understand doubling your inventory and paying off your investment on this slide. Going to the next, we are in this same capacity, 25 going to loan payoff, 75 going to inventory and expenses. And this is if you want to buy the more expensive styles. So these are, this is if you're wanting to add inventory like Sarah's, Amelia's, Carly's, if you just have to have them. This is assuming that we're spending a little bit more on inventory. So in this scenario, after 6 months, if you're building inventory with more expensive styles, you can see the difference in total inventory. After 6 months, you haven't quite doubled your inventory, but you're adding more expensive styles. Your estimated sales capacity does grow, and it takes you 6 months to pay off the initial investment. And 4th and final, if we go the 60-20-20 rule, if you need to pay yourself right off the bat, basically this spells it out for you, paying yourself all along. Basically assumes buying $18 pieces at wholesale. Some will be less, some will be more. Of course, these are round numbers. You can look down the chart month 1 through 8. This basically is an month, a 7-month payoff. In the 8th month, you're totally down debt free. And it would tell you how much you would have added to your income in the payroll button here. So does everybody see that and understand that? Take a look at it, because I'm going to get on my phone in a second so I can actually hear you guys, because we have 10 minutes left and I want to be available for you for Q&A. So think of your questions while I do that. This is so interesting. And as soon as I do this, I'm going to shut off the computer so that we don't have like the Twilight Zone again. Does that sound like a good idea? Oh, darn it. Okay. I'm just gonna leave the room because I forgot that if I turn off the computer, I'm gonna end the call. So, does anybody have any questions?
Yes,
Go ahead.
to know if if I could get a copy of these different scenarios,
Sure.
so that it'll help me do my cash.
Definitely, I'll send them for you.
Thank you.
Sarah,
What was that?
do you have anything to add?
Well, you know, mostly that it's really important that my philosophy is that it's important that you decide what your goals are, short-term and long-term, so that you can come up with a business plan that works for you. If you don't commit to one, you end up extending your time where you're carrying a debt for LuLaRoe past the 4 to 6 month period, and it becomes very hard to put in work if you're doing this on top of your regular job if you're not seeing any profitability or a window of profitability. What's cool to note is that basically LuLaRoe pays me a payroll slightly higher than what I made as a nurse, in addition to paying my sister a salary. And most small businesses take 2 years to get to profitability where they can actually draw an income. So when you think about what your income potential is with LuLaRoe versus another small business, versus what you have to invest to start the business, it's pretty small. And then the sales capacity, just so you ladies know, it's completely possible to exceed the estimated sales capacity. The reason we put that out there is it's an average. 320 pieces and doing $3,200 in sales is like 100 pieces sold. So 25 pieces a week. If you're doing 25 pieces a week, you're probably not booking more than maybe 2 pop-ups, but probably just your online shop and a pop-up. So when you look at sales capacity, it's possible to expand past that, especially now that we've been given the new Bless. If you've converted to new Bless, your cash flow is a little bit better. And then these numbers also are based on an investment of $5,500 with no additional cash flow and no line of credit, which is unheard of in business. Nobody really operates like that. But because we're micro entrepreneurs, we're not normal business people starting out with a normal cash flow situation. If you only have $5,500, then your path is a little bit more rigid and difficult to bend sometimes if you don't have the ability to put a little bit on a credit card here or there or to flex things. But it's definitely possible to exceed the estimated sales capacity. I was telling Jeannie, when I was starting to look at this concept, because the estimated sales capacity is a number that's new to me, but is proving pretty accurate. Last year in January of 2016, we had about 600, I think it's like 612, it's 600 pieces of inventory was what Jeannie and I had put in. So we basically doubled our initial inventory and from August to January, and we had paid off the majority of our debt, or we're debt free. And then, so 600 pieces, and we did $10,000 in sales in January. So clearly the estimated sales capacity for 600 pieces is 6,000, but we killed it. So the way we did that was we had a interest-free credit card that was our line of credit, and I would predict, based on having 3 or 4 pop-ups in a week, pushing more inventory out to fill the 20 pieces per pop-up, is what I had anticipated to sell. So I'd always make sure that I was going to refresh our most popular sellers, and I try and anticipate the needs of my parties. So it's possible to do this and stay at 320. There are people that cruise qualify that way. I don't know how, but it happens. But this is, I don't want anyone to feel discouraged, and but this is just a way to look at different methods and how you could, if you have not become debt free, or you're just starting with LuLaRoe, or you're considering LuLaRoe, how you could make it kind of flow. That makes sense.
I think the most important thing to remember is the numbers really are just numbers that we picked out of thin air. You basically create your own numbers. The formula is something that you want to create, and you need a formula that's going to fit. So you have to pick one of those formulas and stick with it in order to make, it doesn't have to be 50-50. It doesn't have to be 60-20-20. We just pick those numbers for the sake of example is what I'm saying. I'm not going to say we didn't actually do the math and work those numbers out. We did, but it doesn't have to look like that for your business. But the important thing to realize is to pick a formula that's going to fit with your business, and then stick to it and move forward. And whether that takes you 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, then at least you have a timeline to forecast your sales and your profitability for your business. Does anybody have
for sure?
That?
And if you aren't sure of your goals, or you have a goal in mind and you still have debt and you want to know, if you want me to help you work through the math, I'll happily do it. Actually, I won't happily do it, but I'll do it. I hate math, but I can do math if I have to. No, I'll do the math. So if you need someone to kind of work through with you so you can visualize it, I'm happy to do that.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions? Anybody have plans to write a business plan tonight? I'm kidding.
I'm going to
All right,
fine
y'all.
tune mine.
What's that?
I'll be fine tuning mine.
Oh, there we go. There we go. We're up for your ideas for content for next week. So send me a message or send Sarah a message what y'all want to talk about. Generally, what we do as far as Monday night content is we look back on the last week or two conversations with consultants that we've had on a one-on-one basis, and we just take some of the questions that we've heard, and then we develop content, because we feel like if one consultant has a question, then probably more than one has that same question. But we're always looking for topics and ideas. So if you have anything that you want us to talk about, send us a message, and we would love to develop some content on your questions. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Have a great night.
Thanks for doing this.
No problem.